May 26, 2025, garden update. You got 4 pots of sweet peas, different varieties. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, climbing up and growing very, very well. Probably have to extend these stakes so that it can continue climbing up here. Salvia from last year, blanket flower from last year, salvia flowers. All these dahlias from last year. I overwintered in pots and they've done really well. Actually covered them in straw and a layer of landscape fabric over and put them up by the house and they all came back, still alive. Cosmos, 2 varieties, Rubenza and Double Click. Looks like the Rubenzas are the only ones that are blooming at the moment, but beautiful jewel tone, deep, deep red, velvety. Red basil from seed. This is a pincushion or Scabiosa flower from seed as well. Some of the zinnias are doing okay. They're not getting the heat that they want. This guy's doing really well with several sets of leaves. However, this one clearly is stunted. Sweet alyssum, fuchsia, hanging baskets, Thai basil, lemon verbena, more dahlias from last year, bachelor buttons from seed. This little area, kind of like a sitting area, defined by this new rug, outdoor rug. Kind of ties in the colors here a little bit. Here's Olivia Rose. She's looking pretty amazing right now. Just ready to go off. Raldell is just covered in blooms. I have to start deadheading. There's just so many blooms. I have to fertilize soon after this first round. There was a bit of a rain this morning, so that's probably why there's some petals on the ground. This Buddleia, I don't see any signs of blooms yet on it, but it's put on a lot of growth, so. Gertrude is looking much better this year already than it did last year. Last year was somewhat sparse in blooms. This year, I'm already seeing more blooms than I did last year. And on top of that, the blooms seemed bigger, more generous. And overall, just looks like more of a vigorous shrub, less anemic this year than it was last year. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 blooms all at once on this rose. This obelisk hosts 2 different roses. This one is Apricot Impressions by Heirloom Rose. And on this side is David Austin's Crown Princess Marguerite. And just one of my favorite color in all of the roses. Just, it's true orangey yellow coloration that it has. It's so different. So very excited to enjoy this. And the rest of the garden here. Camellia's still growing strong, still blooming. It's perfect. Mathematical Fibonacci sequence like blooms. A little garden, and a little water feature rather. Here it looks like the baby's tears already started knitting. They were individual clumps, and we're starting to see kind of like a confluence taking shape. So I'm just gonna get in there and weed. Looks like the hydrangeas are really filling out this area. Next year, when this dies down, I'm going to plant a lot of the allium bulbs, so that around this time you'll get these little spikes of allium kind of popping throughout the bed and giving it some color before the blooms. And maybe even put some tulips and things like that in there. Maybe some Darwinian tulips or daffodils. Maybe daffodils. This is quite a special finding. Look how early these blueberries are setting. So this variety is called Aurora, and it's actually supposed to be fruiting very late into the summer according to the tag, but it's actually the earliest blueberry for us here. And then this guy, this one, what is this one called? This one's called Liberty. And so Liberty looks like it has smaller fruit, but more fruit, as you can see. And so you got two blueberries planted very closely together for that bumper crop effect, and they're doing pretty well here in sort of like a parts and situation. This is sort of like the experimental cut flower garden. This is a ranunculus, the first bloom here. It's got this sort of antiqued, dusty red color. One of my favorite, sort of mid-century red, not quite. It's saturated but not vibrant, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's just got such a sophisticated palette. You can see each of the petals have, you know, some discrete coloration to it, almost like somebody took a paintbrush and hand brushed each of these petals with watercolor. Just very gorgeous. Wasn't sure if I'm gonna do ranunculus again next year just because of how late it blooms. You can see it's timing itself just as before the peonies are about to bud, but this is going to be pretty spectacular. This variety, this one, I believe is the Carl Logan. Carl Rosenfeld, I'm sorry. Carl Rosenfeld. It's like a magenta colored one, and this guy gets more sun. However, he's only putting out one bloom. This one also only one bloom spike. This one is the Sarah Bernhardt, but she's got at least two buds from this one spike. And so, but it's just in the second year. Next year we'll do even better. Anemones. So this is all a learning experience, but anemones have been really beautiful. Fairly low maintenance. And look at this snapdragon just completely taking over. I'm not obsessed with these colors. It's a little bit outside of my palette of colors that I like. A little bit too rich, a little bit too saturated, but they're just so reliable and practical. Very proud of this dahlia that snapped and broke. I thought it was dead, but has come back alive. One of the new dahlia varieties I purchased from the trade show, and these are Josh's Cosmos These are the garden cosmos that gets really large. I may have to stake them at some point. And then I am trying out China Asters this year, so a few of these guys are doing okay. My little Japanese garden area back here, completely, that lantern completely swallowed by the hosta. This hosta, this ginormous hosta over here, believe it or not, started off smaller than these smaller ones over here when I first planted them. And it's really become surprisingly Jurassic in size. But I just love how voluptuous these hostas just look. And these brunnerals are just looking super amazing. But here's another exciting development. I've never managed to grow strawberries before with any success. And this year, these strawberries that were holdovers from the previous owners that I transplanted from that bed over here, and I brought them over, really seems to been doing well. This is the size of my hand, bigger than my hand, this cluster of flowers. And we have our first fruit that is actually ripening down here, which is very, very exciting. And I have it underplanted from this garlic. So as soon as these leaves start yellowing, it will be time to harvest this garlic, and I'll have some more extra planting room for other crops. Some extra sweet peas, hopefully gonna climb up, not doing as well as the ones in the pots, and more dahlias. These are all from the trade show, all new from this year that I grew in small half-gallon containers and forced in the garage and grown under grow lights. This guy's struggling, not getting the heat that he needs. This one, I don't know, has some issues with the chlorophyll almost. You know, it just looks anemic. Hopefully it'll bounce back. Maybe it has a virus or gall or something, I don't know. This is like a trumpet vine and a star jasmine. These flowers just this is my little forest of foxglove and quinocloa. You can see that it's gonna bloom. These actually came back from last year. Normally my understanding of foxgloves is they're biennial and they'll bloom one year and then they won't bloom the second. However, this is their second year blooming and I don't really understand why. It does look like this was the Dalmatian variety from last year, sort of like a soft apricot peach. And I think this year it reverted back to its rootstock, or, you know, the parent plant, which is the original digitalis, this classic purple. I think that's probably what happened. And this same foxgloves, it looks like they want to bloom again in these pots as well.